Events. In this part of the course, we are going to look more deeply into the concept of events. It is events that really make the difference between BPMN and other notations. As we have seen previously, events represent something that occurs or may occur during the course of a process. There are three types of events based on how the process flow is affected: start events, intermediate events, and end events. Start events indicate when a process is initiated and does not have incoming sequence flows. BPMN states that it is not obligatory to use a start event within a process diagram. However, it is good practice to do so. Usually, a process has a start event, but it can have many. However, it is recommended to have only one. As a business process diagram can contain many processes and levels, it is important to make clear that start and end events are independent for each process or sub-process defined within the model. Some of the established notation rules for start events are: if a start event is not used, then all the figures that do not have an incoming sequence flow will be activated when the process is initiated. If a start event is used, then all the other figures used within the process should have an incoming sequence flow. The exception to the above two rules are compensation activities that do not have an incoming sequence flow and are only initiated when a compensation is necessary. If the process has an end event, it is necessary to diagram a start event. As we have seen previously, BPMN states that it is not obligatory to use a start event. However, it is recommended to use one. There are various ways to initiate a process. For this, BPMN defines some subtypes depending on the way the process is initiated. Start events have triggers that define the cause of the event. This means there are multiple ways that these events can be triggered. Within the subtypes, there are 6 ways to initiate a process: none, message, timer, signal, conditional, and multiple. The none start event we already know, and it's used when we do not wish to specify any particular behavior to start the process. Normally, it is used in sub-processes, which are initiated when the parent process flow arrives at one of the sub-processes. We then have the message start event, which indicates that a process starts when a message is received from another participant. When we say participant, we refer to another process. Another process sends a specific message to this process, and this process starts or initiates. The timer start event indicates that a process starts at certain times or on a specified date. The conditional start event indicates that a process starts when a business condition is met. The signal start event indicates that a process starts when a signal coming from another process is captured. Bear in mind that this signal is not a message, i.e., messages have clearly defined who sent them and who receives them. The multiple start event indicates that there are many ways to initiate the process and that when one of them is fulfilled, the process starts. As we have observed, these subtypes are identified with an icon on the inside of the circle. These are the event types that BPMN provides. However, the most commonly used start events are none, message, and timer. Let's look at an example of each of these. In the process, we can see an example using the none start event. Remember, this type of event should always be used in sub-processes, as these are instanced because a sequence flow arrives at the sub-process, and not because an event has occurred. They can also be used in processes when you do not wish to specify any special behavior for the initiation of the process. In this other example, we can see that the process starts when a message is received. The hiring process initiates when a candidate has been selected for the post. In this case, the hiring process starts when a message is received from the selection process. In this example, we can see a process that should be performed every 20 days. We use a timer start event for this. Remember that it is also possible to use this event to determine that a process starts on a specific date. End events indicate that a process flow or a sub-process has reached its end. It is not obligatory to use it, and it does not have outgoing sequence flows. Some of the established notation rules for end events are: if an end event is not used, then all the figures that do not have outgoing sequence flows indicate the end of the route of the process. If an end event is used, then all the other figures used within the process should have an outgoing sequence flow. The exception to the above two rules are compensation activities that do not have an outgoing sequence flow. If the process has a start event, it is necessary to diagram an end event. As mentioned, a process can have various end events. Additionally, this event can represent a different type of result. BPMN defines the following types of results for end events: none, message, error, cancellation, compensation, signal, terminal, and multiple. The most commonly used are none, message, and terminal. The none end event indicates that a route of the process has reached its end. For this reason, a process can only finish when all the routes of the flow arrive at an end. The message end event indicates that a message is sent to another process when the process arrives at the end. It is possible to show within the diagram the interaction between the processes by means of message lines. The termination end event. This type of end indicates that the process has finished, i.e., when one of the routes of the flow arrives at its end, indicating that the process has completely finished, even though there are other flow routes outstanding. The cancellation end event indicates that a process is cancelled. It is only used in transactional subprocesses. The cancellation message can be captured by an intermediate cancellation event joined to the borders of the transactional subprocess. The error end event indicates that the process is finished, generating an error. This error can be captured by an intermediate error event that is found in a process at a higher level. The compensation end event indicates that the process has finished and that a compensation is necessary. The activities that require compensation should have an intermediate compensation event joined to the borders of the activity. The compensation is performed for all the identified activities that have been completed in reverse order to their performance. The signal end event indicates that a signal is launched when the process is finished. Bear in mind that this signal is sent to whichever process can capture it. However, it does not have a defined objective. The multiple end event indicates that many results can be given at the end of the process. All the results should occur. The most commonly used are the none end event, message end event, and terminal end event. We are now going to see an example of each of them. In the example, we can see the use of the none end event. Remember that this end indicates that a route of the process ends, but the process does not end until all of the routes have arrived at their end. In this process,